Something that's been coming up a lot lately in my life with my friends, with clients, is urgency. This need to resolve things quickly or this need to get everything out at once. So I want to talk about it. Before we get into that, if you enjoy this content and you want more, go ahead and click the link in the show notes and sign up for my 3T newsletter. It comes out every Monday. You will get a truth, a thought, and a tactic to try for the week. Again, link in the show notes if you want to sign up. It's completely free. Urgency has been coming up so much lately. It has come up in clients, in their relationships, where they will fall into the losing strategy of unbridled self-expression because they find themselves unable to keep the words in because it feels so urgent to deal with everything that's bothering them right away. Or in another case, there's high conflict and there's this sense of urgency that this has to be resolved immediately or the relationship is over and I need to run away. And I've even seen this come up with my clients in the work environment where they are managed by, let's say, not the best leader, and they feel this urgency to get their point across or to challenge the authority. And so I want to talk about this feeling of urgency, what it is, what's happening in the nervous system, and some alternatives to just expressing everything instantly to get some relief. So whenever someone expresses urgency to me, I am automatically thinking there's activation going on. And likely some activation outside your window of tolerance, some fight, some flight is going on in the system. Because when we feel urgent, everything starts to speed up. We need answers now. We need to say what's on our mind now. We have no yield in our system. So if you've ever been in those situations where you're having a conversation with someone and you're feeling really like, oh, I've got to get my words out. And you can tell, maybe you can tell that they're flooded or they're overwhelmed, and you still find yourself talking. Maybe your partner has said to you, I get it. I hear you, and you still keep going. That's urgency. It's that pressure, the need to get it all out, also known as unbridled self-expression. When we dump on our partner, when we dump everything on someone all at once because we don't want to keep it inside. What's going on inside is that our body is just like, this is too much. I'm activated, and not in a healthy way, activated I'm in a survival response. I'm in fight or flight, and I need to get this out so that I feel some sort of relief. I think about a tea kettle on the stove when it starts whistling, right? The water is boiling, the pressure has built. And if you don't take the kettle off the stove, it's just going to get louder and more intense. I've had a few people tell me that they're just passionate. And the way I want to help differentiate between being passionate about something and acting out of urgency is that passion doesn't have to go fast. Urgency does. Passion doesn't have to get their point across right away. Urgency does. Passion doesn't have to have someone agree with them or see their point of view. Urgency does. You can be incredibly passionate about something and care about something, but be able to deliver it in a steady, grounded way where you're still staying in that, we talk about that state of vagal authority, where you're still the most grounded nervous system in the room. You can be incredibly passionate and still have access to that safety, to that groundedness. Urgency lives in activation. And when we move from urgency, life gets more complicated because we're speeding everything up. And our urgency can give us this false sense that if we do not act now, something horrible will happen. When in reality, the moving quickly is likely what's going to cause the rupture that is bigger than it needs to be in your relationship. So what do you do if you're someone who's like, I experience urgency. I feel that tension in my chest, in my throat, that visceral reaction, that inability to slow down and hit the pause button. What do I do when that is happening in my system? Now, the thing that you need to do is work with someone who is going to work with your nervous system, right? Someone who is going to be able to guide you through oscillating between working with that activation and that urgency and then anchoring you back into safety and dosing that over time so that you are able to expand your capacity to be with that feeling. Because it's okay to have uncomfortable emotions. It's okay to feel anxiety. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel urgency. The trouble comes in our relationships when the emotion is the gas in our car. And that's how we act. That's what we, behave from. We act out of the emotion instead of experiencing the emotion and then acting out of our higher consciousness, right? Like using our frontal lobe to make decisions. So the feeling is not the problem. It's what it's doing in our system. It's when the feeling goes through our window of tolerance and we're in a survival state. And then again, it's like we have no yield. It's just foot on the gas when we're feeling urgency. So working with a practitioner like myself, who's going to oscillate you between feeling into that urgency and then feeling into an anchor, some safety, something resourcing for you so that your capacity builds and what used to be urgent for you no longer feels that way. That's the number one thing to do. But I want to give you a couple of things you can start doing today with your own body to help when you're in those moments where you're like, I can't stop pushing. I need to get my point across. I need to say this now. I need resolution. The first thing I want you to do is to just notice what that feels like in your body. Do you have this visceral feeling of wanting to run away, of wanting to fight? And depending on which of those feelings feel stronger for you, if you find that in urgency you want to move, go for a walk. Go for a walk and start with a very quick pace. And then after a few minutes, slow it down a little bit. And after another minute or two, slow it down even more. And you can go from being a race walker to a nice leisurely stroll. That's what I want you to do in this exercise. You're giving your body some indulgence in that flight response. You're allowing yourself to move, and then you're slowly and incrementally slowing yourself down. If going for a walk is not possible and you're seated, I want you to do some heel raises. Simply lift up onto your toes, drop your heels. Lift up onto your toes, drop your heels. Do this with your feet. You can do it quickly at first. And then I want you to slow it down and continue to slow this movement down until you feel comfortable just pressing your feet flat on the floor and noticing them on the floor. Now, if when urgency hits, you feel more of a fight response, I want you to go get a dish towel and hold either end of it, and I want you to pull it apart as hard as you can. And I mean until your arms are shaking. Just pull that dish towel apart. And what you're doing is you're giving that fight energy in your body somewhere to go. You can take a break, notice how you're feeling, and then do it again. If you still notice that fight energy, as hard as you can, pull that towel apart till your arms are shaking. And after you do that, I want you to take one hand to the opposite arm and just gently squeeze your arm. Light squeezes, and all you need to do is just notice. Just notice that feeling. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself a little resource after indulging in the fight response. Think of it as lifting the lid off the tea kettle so some of that pressure can be relieved. Now, again, these two things are just tools. These are tools to help you in the moment when you're feeling really flooded and you need to get your words out or you need resolution. They're just tools. And if you're in conversation with your partner, before you use these tools, it's important to tell them, I need to pause for a second. I will come back, give them a time, 10, 15 minutes, go use your tools and see if you can come back to the conversation. Now, what I hope is that your nervous system in this time has downshifted. You're able to come back down into your window of tolerance. You might still feel some activation, but hopefully you're back in your window of tolerance within your current capacity. But again, the key long term is to work with someone who can help you expand your capacity so the same things that are triggering that sense of urgency no longer bother you. You're able to continue to move through life with a flexible nervous system without blowing your window of tolerance when something pops up. I hope this helps. If you're interested in what that deeper work could look like, go ahead and click the link below to book a call with me, and let's talk about what nervous system work can do for you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope you choose growth.
If you enjoyed this episode and you're a fan of the show, please subscribe and leave us a review. If you'd like to connect, you can join me over on Substack or follow me on Instagram at Lilly Rachels. Let's build love that grows.